What's up everybody, it's Justin at S&K Greenhouse, and today I'm giving you 3 tips to prepare your raised beds for spring, sort of winterize them if you will. And if you follow these tips, you're going to be guaranteed success in your planting endeavors next year. You know, as gardeners, we need to really cherish our soil. Soil is so important. We grow in it all year long, and at the end of the season, it's really depleted. And soil is not just made up of organic matter and rock particles, but also billions of microscopic microbes that break down the organic matter, and that's what actually makes the nutrients available to our plants. In the spirit of supporting these microbes, we're actually going to do step 1, which is to remove all old plant material out of your raised beds. That's going to be the first thing you do for prepping your bed for spring. And I'm not just going to pull the plants out of the ground. Instead, what I'm going to do is actually cut the plants off at the base and leave the roots down in the raised bed soil. So come on in. This is an old broccoli plant. Got my pruners here. Whoa, it's got a tough base. Now I'm going to throw this off in my compost bin because it doesn't have any insect problems or disease problems, and it'll break down and make a really nice compost. But the reason I'm leaving the roots in the raised beds is because they're going to decompose over the course of the winter, and they actually support the microbes that are in the soil. In contrast, we do want to pull the weeds up by the roots. So this old clover that's in here, I'm definitely going to remove all of it from the roots, because weeds have a funny way of coming back every year from the root, so we don't want to just chop those off. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove all the rest of the vegetation, and we'll move on to point 2. All right guys, the next step to prepping your beds for spring and winterizing them is to add compost. This year we grew so much out of these beds. In the summertime I had tomatoes and watermelons and cantaloupes and just so many plants that massively deplete the soil, including broccoli and Swiss chard that was just in this bed. So the nutrients are pretty much gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some mushroom compost. We're going to top dress the beds 1 to 2 inches deep. You don't have to use mushroom compost. Whatever you have at home, whether you make your compost or you have aged manure, that's going to do the trick. And the great thing is about composting this time of year is the compost will have time to sort of leach the nutrients down into the soil, and that way in the spring your plants can just absorb them. All right, as you can see, we got our compost added, and step number 3 in preparation for spring is going to be mulching. Now, mulching your beds is very important because it's going to protect the beds and your soil actually from harsh UV rays coming in and drying out the soil. Number 2, it's going to suppress any weeds that I may have left in there. And number 3, it's going to keep weed seeds from blowing in. There are a lot of great options for mulch. You can use some kind of hardwood mulch. What I really like to use, because of the time of year it is, we're in the month of December now, there's a lot of leaves laying around. And so what I like to do is gather up some leaves and just kind of use it as mulch. And it works really good actually. Super lightweight, easy on the back. Just in case we have some high winds, and we probably will, I'm going to water these leaves in, and that's going to help keep them from blowing out. The good thing about using leaves is these leaves can stay in here through next spring. They'll kind of turn into a leaf mold. So whenever I get ready to put my spring plants in, I'll just gently rake it back, place the plant in, and then mount it right back around. All right guys, there are your 3 tips to prepping your beds for springtime. Hey, if you follow these, I'm very confident your spring plants are gonna love you for it. And if you're new to the channel, hey, we talk about all things gardening. And if you want to join this community, you can easily do so by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. That way you're going to get updated every time we release a new video. Well, until next time, become a plant person.